Project here with another build video for you guys, bringing you the best support tank hybrid build you can make, not only being one-shot proof, but also able to spam heals for you and your teammates through the wide range and free meal level 3 skills. So gonna call this build Chubby Cheerleader, for those that either want a more non-tryhard playstyle or just want to play a support role for their team. This is primarily a multiplayer build because, well, who would bring a tank build in solo? Well, unless you want to spend 17 minutes easily killing Ruiner Nergigante without even touching your normal Megapots once. Now, don't be fooled. There is no immortal build in Iceborne. Tempered monsters will take chunks off you regardless of how immortal one can claim. And tempered monsters are all you'll be fighting in the endgame for Augments. And Fortify, a cheat skill to alter reality, is not in this build, since the entire point of a tank build is not to die, you know, so you're not the one dying and lowering rewards or failing the quest. So I opted not to include it in the build, despite its obvious defensive advantages. It just doesn't make sense to put in a tank build. Now against non-tempered monsters, yeah, you won't be taking much damage at all with this build. But here is Chubby Cheerleader, which, as you can see, has wide childbearing hips. You will need to be at least Master Rank 70 as it uses Gold and Brute Tigrex parts, which require level 6 Wasteland and Rotted Vale in the Guiding Lands, unless you can get their parts via other players' quests. But at max augmented armor, you're looking at over 1000 defense from armor alone. It uses the level 5 defense charm, which is really easy to max out, and level 7 defense gives percent-based defense increase, so it's actually a solid skill now. The build also uses the 2-piece Goldie set to be able to get level 5 Divine Protection, which in turn effectively gives you a 50% chance on average to reduce damage by 60%, and that is what is making you live a lot of dangerous attacks like Shara or Tio's supers. Without this proc, you gon' get hurt. So no matter how immortal you might think a build can do, if that doesn't proc, 1100 defense will still take a chunk from a tempered monster, but not one shot, thankfully. Do keep in mind the elemental defenses. Probably should avoid fighting Kieran since defense will matter little against pure elemental attacks. Now, the second core part of the build is the wide range skill. At level 3, whenever you heal or take these items, they apply to your teammates at 66% efficiency. So, when you chug a max potion in the blink of an eye, because we run speed eating, your teammates will basically get a potion's worth of healing as well for free. So a very handy skill for multiplayer hunts, and honestly, quite necessary for a lot of multiplayer hunts to have at least one wide range user. Trust me, it makes things way easier. Coupled with the Tigrex 3-piece set giving us free meal level 3, this means you have a very high chance at 75% of not consuming items, thus able to constantly keep you and your team nice and healthy, and in the case of nullberries, free of debuffs. The third advantage this build has over others is Earplugs level 5. This effectively means roars can't stop you from doing anything, which either allows for more damage or gives you a chance to heal you and your teammates. So this is a quality of life decision to put in this build to make multi-monster bullcrap encounters in Guiding Lands and whatnot easier to navigate through, because for sure your teammates will likely not run earplugs as try-hard DPS builds, so you gotta be a deaf Nurse Joy and heal them before they're killed. And yeah, we have attack level 4 for some damage, speed eating is freaking sick, taking in monster energy drinks in a blink of an eye. Unfortunately though, your heal speed is not the same as others, so teammates will heal at a slower rate unless they too had speed eating. And lastly, because the build is primarily multiplayer, that means tripping. Hello longsword and bowgun users that spam attacks regardless if you see others being tripped by your attacks. So I had to include flinch free level 1 to stop them from interrupting your attacks or even healing. Flinch free is damn near mandatory in multiplayer melee builds. Because of the flinch free, however, I had to alter the build quite heavily, basically restricting the use of the weapon you will end up using to 1. When creating the build, I was hoping to run Nergigante weapons because they not only had high raw and a level 1 slot, but most importantly, they have huge wide sharpness, reducing the amount of times you have to sharpen. However, the flinch-free and lack of a level 4 earplugs deco broke the camel's back, so instead, you're going to be forced to run Lunastra's razor sharp path weapons for the 2 level 3 slots. Damage-wise, Nergigante weapon supersedes it. However, with the built-in razor sharp, you're basically getting about as much total sharpness as Nerg's, and the blast procs and 10% affinity means perhaps the damage comes pretty close in the end. So yes, you can use most any melee weapon you want with this build, but it has to be this branch of Luna's weapons. Thankfully, she pretty much has weapons for each weapon type, so you're free in the weapon you plan to use for the build, although obviously some weapons like bow and gun lance aren't too synergetic with this build, as they usually require a little more to work well. Now, if you do have a level 4 earplugs plus jewel, that is the +2 one, you have some extended options to 2 slot weapons, such as Valha's Axe, or in the case of Chargeblade, Gold Rathian's Chargeblade. You can even go for Luna's Nerg custom route for haste and recovery for more raw and heals at the cost of losing Razor Sharp. So you do have more flexibility with a level 4 earplugs jewel, using the exact same pieces of armor as this one. But yeah, those are your main weapon options depending on if you have earpods or not. For augments, I recommend either health plus defense, or go all in on defense. The defense augment sorta works like divine protection in addition to the flat amount, giving you a small chance at reducing damage. However, in cases where tick damage or fire damage are present, like against TO, Black Veil, and others, I prefer re-healing back that while still attacking, so I think health augment is better, but it is up to you since the build does allow you to spam heals for the most part via eating. But that's time spent resheathing and not doing damage. But those are your 2 augment options. And that wraps up the build, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed my take on a tank plus support build. I think it's about as best it can get when considering the set bonuses. But that is all from me. Thanks for watching. I have a build for Greatsword and Hammer if you want to check those out in the end screen annos. Remember to heal that like button. Comment down below what you guys think of the build, or what tank or support builds you're running for Iceborne, or what weapon you want me to make a build of next. And of course, subscribe for more Monhan epicness.